Hello, I'm back in my normal digs today, just for a brief moment. The last two videos were at a different location, two different locations, and the next two videos will be actually across the pond over in Scotland and England. So I am taking a different little path today, and we'll see how it goes. So, hopefully it doesn't make anybody dizzy that on the side of a hill. I'll try to keep the trees vertical. How's that sound? Let's see. The things that I was thinking about talking about today. Something that's really interesting to me as I meet more practitioners and as I go through the training again to be a somatic experiencing practitioner is that it's really easy to take the basics of things we learn and how to work with people. I'm assuming the same thing is with therapists and any kind of people that work with coaches for sure. People who work in talk-related professions. It's really easy to kind of work with whoever you're talking to, whether that's the cashier or your best friend or an acquaintance. And I mean, it's really easy, especially when you're first learning a modality. You love it. I just adore somatic experiencing. I just feel like everybody needs it, right? But so in just encountering people on a day-to-day basis, it would be really easy to slip into practitioner mode. And I say that really specifically because my understanding, my belief also, and my training says that there is such a thing as practitioner mode. I am the same person everywhere, but I don't work with everybody I encounter. And that's a really important distinction, I think. Because as a practitioner, people come to you for help of some sort, even if it's just conversation. And that's a truly important distinction, again, that the people who who come to me are expecting me to work with them. So I am in practitioner mode. In fact, I have to be very explicit when I drop my practitioner mode with people who come to work with me, and when I talk about something from my own life, or I slip into friendly. I have to be really careful with that, because that's not why people come and see me. So the flip side is, especially the beginning, it's very easy to blur the edges and to be both a friend and a practitioner, and just start to pull out your tools, your toolkit, drag it out, and rummage around in your toolkit for the right tool for this conversation. And this is where it just becomes super important to remember that if you're just having a friendly conversation with somebody, even if they start to talk about stuff that's hard and scary and they're upset about it, if you're there in friend mode, you have to be there in friend mode. And so another word that's really important in this conversation is consent. When somebody comes to me for work, somatic experiencing, freedom guide stuff, renaturing, they actually sign, check, electronically check box that they consent to working with me. Then I'm going to ask them questions, and of course they don't have to answer, but this is like a consensual relationship where they are asking for my skills and I am using my skills, my toolbox. And when we run into somebody, even if it's our dearest friend or our intimate partner, and they're going through something, it's really easy to want to work with them because we know how. And it's so important to get that consent. And I'm not for a second saying that I haven't worked with friends and partners. But I have only done so with consent. And I stop and get it. Sometimes I'll find myself asking probing questions and go, okay. So here's the thing. Sometimes I say, ooh, that was a little too much, sorry. And you know what? Most of the time, the person I'm talking to says, yeah, thanks. I just wanted to be a friend right now. Other times, I have talked to somebody, had them tell me about something big and bad, and have said, hey, do you want me to put on my practitioner hat for a sec and help you through this so that you can get on? And I would say 9 out of 10 times the person I'm talking to will say yes. And when they don't, it is really freaking important for boundaries, for trust, that you don't work with them. And if you couldn't tell by the language I'm using and the tone, try to ignore the breathlessness from going uphill on a very small path. This matters a lot. I mean, it matters a lot to me, but it's also, it feels to me like one of those things that everybody who's a practitioner needs to remember, because maybe some of the types of practitioners get a bad rap because they slide into that role unannounced and without consent. And so, the people that may be shy about talking to you once you start whatever training because, they're going to do that thing that they do and it's awful. And maybe it's great, but it just gives them a really yucky feeling. And we all know, any of us who's going into something where we're helping people, that the last thing we want to do is give them a yucky feeling. And how awful would it be to imagine that you are giving somebody a yucky feeling off into the future, that the people that they meet in the future or other friends that might do some sort of healer training also like trigger that yucky feeling because of you. So I like to talk about containers, right? I actually have at least a couple of clients where I have 3 separate containers. I'm friends with them. I'm their practitioner, and they do something for me. And we have different times set aside for each thing. And if we switch back and forth, we say so. And it feels really, really important to think about that. And to become skilled at making sure whoever you talk to is comfortable with you. I know that I have people in my life who have blurred that edge in the past, or had people in my life where the edge was blurred. I think I just saw a owl fly away from me. It is extraordinarily unlikely that I'm going to be able to see it again. Never mind, get it on camera. But very cool. So anyway, I have personal memories or feelings, and that's the thing, right? I'm not sure that I have specific memories of this, but I do have that icky feeling that I have been taken advantage of. And that seems like a strong thing to say. And this person was so excited about what they were doing, and so it's patronizing too, right? To just have somebody slip into practitioner mode because you need help. And they can help you. And that feels pretty rotten. And that doesn't diminish your skill, my skill, anybody's skill. But it does make the container feel bad. So, I'm certainly... I just flushed another bird from the top of a tree, and it was a grouse, and they don't usually hang out at the top of a tree, but I'm assuming it had been on the ground and then roosted, maybe for the evening, and that was pretty funny. Isn't this cool? Just a little bower thing. It's just a tree falling over. Yeah. So, containers, consent, boundaries, and respect. That patronizing thing, it demonstrates a lack of respect. And it doesn't matter how much somebody loves you, if they don't respect you, you feel icky. So hopefully that didn't actually come off as too much of a rant. And I feel that it's important enough for a rant. Alright, next time I see you, I will be across the pond.